Hi, Stuart.
Yes, Rob.
I wonder if you can talk a little bit about sexual energy, the power of it, and the, being in a state of lust, how to benefit from it and actually not get to that state of lust. And yeah.
Yeah. I just wrote an entire 240-page book on this subject. Anyway, I'm trying to get it published. But anyway, look, in terms of the developing an inner life, sexual energy is an essential energy to developing an inner life. It's the energy, as I've said, a lot in my talks over the years, it's the energy of rebirth. It's the energy of the union of the masculine and feminine. And that union gives birth to Kundalini. So as we draw energy through the sexual area, the power of that energy flowing there, it creates a marriage of the male and the female. Now, as I've said many times, this doesn't matter if you're straight, you're gay, or whatever your sexual preferences are. Uh, Sexual energy exists in everybody. And what it's a matter of is learning how to channel it through discipline, through training, through deep inner work, so that energy will give birth to a spiritual life. That's what Tantra is really about. I mean, they talk about, it's always, you always see pictures of, you know, uh, gods and goddesses and all kinds of sexual positions and, teachers but, that's the surface of it. The profundity of it is that in order to, activate Kundalini, we need to bring together the male female principle inside ourselves. And Kundalini will be activated in a healthy way. Because to bring the male female principle together, we have to be grounded inside, which means we have to have a lot of chi, a lot of balance, foundation inside ourselves in order to unify those energies. The unification of those energies transforms the human to the divine.
Mm.
And sexual, and not even sex so much, you can do it through meditation, you can do it through having a relationship with somebody where both people are highly evolved and capable of doing what I'm talking about. They have training and mastery of the chakra system, and then they can do that. You understand? So it's not sex; it's the transmission of sexual energy from the navel chakra through, the sexual area to the base of the spine. And what happens when that energy is transmitted? The human becomes the spiritual. The whole transformation of what it means to be human, helps us develop a spiritual life. And this all takes place in the sexual area. And being grounded, of course, means we can keep our hearts open. We can have gratitude. We can have love. Understand? Because none of this is going to work without gratitude and love. None of this is going to work if the mind is a noisy, you know, a beehive of tension, you know? So the whole chakra system has to be in sync. Being grounded enables the heart to open, enables the mind to be quiet, enables the energy to move through the sexual area. And ultimately, it enables the activation of Kundalini, which is the transformation of the human to the divine.
Mm.
That is the process. It's just a process that works when a person gets training and they learn how to do it. It's not complicated. It's A plus A or 1 plus 1 equals 2. What's hard is learning how to do it. That is the difficulty. That takes time, it takes training, takes an enormous amount of inner development. And that also gives us a mastery over sexual energy. Sexual energy, I mean, it winds up killing people, so
Yeah,
powerful and so strong. It creates, 8 billion horny people running around looking at each other, sexual energy,
yeah.
unless one learns to master it and channel it inside. And then it really is how a spiritual life is born, gives birth to every one of us. It also gives birth to ourselves, our interior lives. And it's not only about sexual energy, it's about every chakra. If the heart's closed, you have a lunatic asylum inside. Crazy emotions, all kinds of anger, fear, insecurity, blah, 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 goes on and on and on. If the mind is not quiet, if the mind is not open and relaxed, you have a real insane asylum. And as I've said a million times, you combine the tension of the mind with the emotions, the chaotic emotions with chaotic mind, with chaotic sexuality, and you really have a lunatic asylum existing inside one. That requires training. We have to learn how to master it. And mastering it gives birth to a spiritual life.
The engine of life.
Excuse me?
It's the engine of life, this whole energy.
It's the engine of life. And it keeps you out of the crazy house. Mean it. You don't have to live in a sanitarium. And I don't mean going into some building with doctors are feeding you. I mean the way people live every day. It's scary how people live every day. And all it is a matter of is no training, no capacity to channel this energy, to develop the chakra system, because they have no training. And yet they spend all their time blaming everybody else. I mean, I had to watch that debate between Trump and Harris the other night. I mean, it's like, that guy is like an insane asylum. It's everybody's fault but his. Everybody is wrong but him. He can do no wrong, and all he does is mess up everybody's lives.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have a question? And what really is scary about all of this is that you have 8 billion people living in the world. Every single human being has a chakra system. And if these 8 billion would just develop a chakra system, it would end war, it would end famine, it would end all the nonsense that goes on in life. It really would. We'd be living in paradise, God's paradise, if people would just develop an inner life, connect with spirit, transform all this tension in lower levels of existence into a spiritual life. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen, and it's kind of a pipe dream. But I mean, it's really an outside chance. It's like trying to win the lotto. You get 8 billion people with developed chakra systems. But the universe has taken care of that. I mean, there's reincarnation. Everybody has a million lifetimes to learn how to do this. They're all afraid the world is going to come to an end. It's not going to come to an end. The soul has to finally learn how to do this. And it takes sometimes hundreds of lifetimes for people to begin to learn this. And people learn it in many ways. I mean, like Bach, I mean, this great composer whose music is extraordinary. And he's dying. Said this, I read this somewhere, and to me, it really got embedded inside me. He's dying, and he's telling me, "Why are you crying? Why are you lamenting?" I'm just going to where the music comes from. It's extraordinary. The music took him there. We're all going to where the music comes. And what a battle between now and then. It's unbelievable what goes on this planet between now and then, between point A and point B. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, if there are no more questions, there will be meditation on Sunday. Next Thursday, I'm going away for 5 days, so I'm not sure about a class schedule. I'm going to try to fit in classes, but if I can't, I can't. I'm going to celebrate my daughter's birthday. She's moved out of town, so I got to go visit her. Does anyone else have a question you'd like to ask? Okay, if there are no more questions, thank you, all of you. God bless you. I also can suggest something. Yesterday I was asked a very good question about, nothing, being nothing. And if you have time, I mean, all my talks are on YouTube and Facebook. I would suggest going to that talk. It was very, very good talk about nothing, what it means to become nothing. So we'll have class on Sunday. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you, Stuart. Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you, sir.
Thank you.
Bye. See you tomorrow. See you.